Hey, it's Dave again. Hey, this is part 3 of the build for the Xfly B1-B bomber, the bone. Um, After I finished the unboxing, I did a little closer inspection again, just to find some other areas. And I think I mentioned last time, back in here is kind of looks like it's a little bit like it's been crushed a little bit. There were some areas in the body that the paint wasn't very good. Some parts that weren't painted. On the other side, back right here in the seam right here on the other side, there's actually some gap right there. And then I also kind of noticed when I was looking at the wings, kind of looking in the where the flaps and the ailerons go here in the groove was not painted. It was all white. And I actually, I contacted customer support at Banana Hobby where I purchased the plane, and very responsive. I had taken some close-up pictures of the areas that were a concern. They asked me for some bigger pictures, so I did it. I sent those later in the evening when I got home from work, and about 9 o'clock at night, I actually got a text message from them. Asked me would I be willing to take some refund off the plane to account for the poor quality areas. Definitely easier than trying to pack the plane up and send it back. So we've worked that out. So very responsive. Don't know many customer service places that be contact in the middle, late in the evening, trying to resolve some issues. So I'm not real happy with the overall quality at the at a $700 plane, but so far I can't complain with Banana Hobby's customer service. And like all companies, some people complain, some people say they're good, but so far I'm pretty good. But what I did do, I did have some paint from some other work on planes I've been doing, so I just got me a little paintbrush. It's not artistic or perfect, and the color blends pretty good. Obviously you won't see the change in the color from any distance, but the white was going to blare out pretty bold when you had the flaps down and stuff. So in the air, of course, you're not going to see it, but on the ground where people are looking at the plane, it would have been pretty obvious. So anyway, so keeping this plane. So now I'm going to finish prepping it or start putting it together. So as I mentioned in one of the earlier videos, that my plan now is I want to put probably 2 coats of this Minwax polyacrylic on there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a wing, just kind of show you how I do it. Like I said, I have been, I'm just 2-3 years into this, so I'm clearly, still learning the processes myself. So hoping the comment section will be open on the videos, because I'm learning how to do that as well. So if you watch the video and you got recommendations how to do it better to help other people out, the one thing great about this community that I found is 99% of the people are really anxious to help. There's always the 1 or 2 that want to make you feel stupid, or like you don't, like whatever, there's just a few people that like to do that. But for the most part, this is a great community, and everybody wants to help each other and support one another. You see that in the real YouTube videos, like Two Brothers Radio, or Two Brothers RC, John without the H, if you watched his videos, and RC Geek, and Brian Phillips, who puts together really complicated, detailed build videos and goes through the controller and shows you how to do all the setups. So great if you're just starting flying. Like Brian Phillips is one that I would highly recommend. Some of his videos can be a couple hours long, but he goes into a lot of detail. So anyway, so my process to do that is kind of like anything that you're going to glue something down or put something down, you want to have a clean surface. So I just have a little bit of rubbing alcohol here, bought from the dollar store, and I just get me a paper towel, give me a little alcohol there, and I'm just going to give it just kind of a soft wipe, just kind of get any dirt or any you know, coming out of the box, there's little pieces of foam that may still be hanging around a little bit. Not like cleaning, you know, brake pads or brake drums on a car if you've ever done that, but just a nice little clean. So get a little thing, and like I said before, when I first started flying, I kind of, you know, was like, I'm not sure why people do, you know, put the polyacrylic down, because it just seemed to me that, you know, it really wasn't going to do a lot, but it does. I feel like now it does kind of protect the paint just a little bit, and like I said, just if you bang it on a wall, road rash, you know, I don't know if most people, let me get back on the video, I guess, but like most people, like, you know, I have an upstairs where I keep all my planes, and you know, so taking them downstairs, turning corners, getting out of the garage, I seem to, you know, hit the wings and stuff, so I do a lot of you know, road rash damage just getting in and out of the car, and of course I've had my fair share of wrecks, so you know, polyacrylic's not going to help that, but just kind of protect the surface a little bit. If you get a little rain on it or whatever, I'm just giving it a little wipe down just to make sure it's dried up. So okay, so got that surface clean, and what I use, and I've seen other things, I just buy these little foam brushes. I got these at Ace Hardware. You know, they're a couple bucks a bag, and you know, when I get a coat on, I just have a Ziploc bag, and I'll just drop it in there, seal it up, and you can easily, you know, do a whole plane with one brush. It won't dry out unless you just leave it out. But for one thing I found out, the key is be very light on your coat. Don't put heavy coats down, because it can run. So you'll kind of want to pay attention to that. And if it runs, it's really kind of hard to correct that, because if you try to cut it or you try to peel, it's going to peel the paint up off the plane and stuff. So just kind of be real careful. So I just try to put a really light coat on it. And I got me some lights here that I use. When I first started painting and stuff, I had really poor lighting upstairs, and I'll get over here. But I had some really poor lighting, and it just made working harder. So I've actually got me some, you know, floodlights that I'm using. Gives me a really good clear view of the surface, and I can see if there's any imperfections. And like I said before, especially the moving parts, like, you know, the flaps and the ailerons here, you want to be really careful in these grooves and not have it run down there, because it will actually kind of glue it down, and you got to either break it loose, get an X-Acto knife, or, you know, break it loose, and got a chance of peeling paint up or actually doing some damage to the surface itself. So anyway, not for me. I mean, it's not complicated. It's just a little time consuming. So I'll just give me a light coat on here, and I'll just start brushing. And if I'm smart enough on how to do the video, I'll just kind of probably speed this section up, because you're probably not interested in watching all of this. But now there is like the light here, and so I try not to get anything on the lights, fog them up a little bit. But, you know, again, just be kind of cautious. And I got plenty on the brush now, so now I'm just able to kind of use the brush now and just kind of spread it out. Look for any dry areas. I'm going to keep it out of this area right here where the wings sweep, just so so you don't, if there's any tolerancing or anything there. So we'll just keep that out of there. A little bit more there. And I'm going to kind of brush this one down a little bit for the first part, since there's a little bit of here, just to try to make sure it doesn't run down in the groove. And then I'll just kind of smooth it out a little bit here. Yeah, when I was looking at the wings, I had to, like, the inside here, this wasn't painted, that wasn't painted. I guess I don't know if that's normal, or if I just happened to catch, you know, a bad one. this in here where I didn't want it, so I'm just going to wipe that off. Alright, so there's a very light coat. I'm just trying to make sure there's no drips anywhere, so I'm just kind of brushing back over it. Kind of going in a couple different directions. There's a little piece of styrofoam. Alright, so that's the first coat on the top of the first wing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry. Depends on temperature and humidity and temperature in the house and stuff. And but I'll let that dry. You know, sometimes a couple hours. Sometimes, you know, if it's late at night, you know, I'll just let it go overnight. And then I'll get some really fine hot, you know, sandpaper. Just really lightly go over it, just to kind of just loosely rough the surface up just a tad, so the next coat can adhere. And so you can see there's a lot. Got the two wings, got the canopy, got the ailerons, got the wing covers here. You know, I got the tail section. If you notice here, I haven't completely put the tail section together because I don't want to glue it together just in case I need to take it apart. As you can see, I mean, this thing is going to be huge. And if you've watched Two Brothers Radio, he you know, he did a video on this, and he was talking about, like, I think he said he drove an Impala or something, and said that it takes up the whole back of his car. I have a Nissan Armada, so it's pretty big. I got a fair amount of room, but I think lengthwise that may take it all up. So I may actually have to take the tail section off to transport it to the flying field. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up. So it'll probably be a day or so before I get to actually being able to start the assembly of the plane. Getting pretty, you know, excited about that. The one thing that I'm gonna spend a lot of time to watch the videos, I'm gonna be looking for some help on, quite honestly, is how to do the mixing. So when the wings swip back, the elevator, you know, give it a little bit of elevator so you don't get that pitching and you get a nice smooth transition. And so be looking at that, because I really haven't done that much. You know, with my Spectrum controller, I pretty much have just the three basic flight modes for safe and what I call intermediate and you know, out of safe. And I haven't really used flight modes for a lot of other stuff. So I'm learning that process as well. So always open for anybody's got any recommendations, suggestions. I'll take them. But anyway, off to getting the rest of the plane ready to go. And hopefully in a week or so, I'll be able to get a maiden out of the way. All right, have a good one.